much done. Can take a look. Everything went together fairly easily. The set neck isn't super difficult. Always just measure and go slowly. Don't get too much of in a hurry and get everything together correctly. It's all set up now. I did have to do a fret level, crown and polish and all that stuff. There was one fret that was a little wonky, so I had to do quite a bit of work to it. You kind of have to expect that with these kind of kits. The sides of it were fine. You run your hands up and down the sides, totally feels fine, but it just wasn't flat, and so it's not rocket science. Basically all you do is get the neck as straight as you can, file the frets all so that they're all the same height, and then I have a little tool that you crown the top back on it. It's an afternoon's worth of work, and it's not the most fun thing in the world to do, but if you're going to be doing kits, it's definitely something that you should at least invest in the tool that crowns the frets, because that makes it go so much easier. Doing a flat file and trying to get around top is not the easiest way to do it. So, and you can get a fret file for, you know, $20-30, so it's totally worth it in that regard. The kit turned out pretty well. I am a little worried. I don't know if you can see it down here. This bridge is all the way down to the bottom, as low as it'll go. So it can't. Usually there should be a little up and down movement, but it didn't work that way. It's a replacement bridge, so it might be a bit taller than the original one that was on it. But make sure to check your neck angle before you glue it in. I glued this one. I did check this one, but I didn't check it with this bridge. I checked it with the old bridge, so that may have been my problem. I replaced the pots, but the buttons don't fit, so the it doesn't have any knobs on it at the moment. I also replaced the switch. The switch that comes with the kit, just like the switch that came with that Telecaster kit, it's got a lot of play in it. It doesn't have a very solid feel. This one has a pretty good feel, and it was only $10, so it's definitely worth the upgrade on that. I did put on a new nut, and it seems to help with the roller bridge and the tusk nut. It seems to do pretty well. I was going to put locking tuners on, and I still may, but the ones that I had wouldn't work out without drilling for them. I didn't know for sure that I wanted to put them on there, so I'm going to hold off on that. These are fine. They may not be the best quality in the world, but at least they hold tune, and they're not terrible. I may look into some other tuners for it, depending on what happens. The action is nice and low. I was able to intonate it no problem. And get everything set up with just the travel and the in the roller bridge. It is a lot easier to the thing like a Telecaster or a Stratocaster has a lot more intonation range. This one you're pretty set with where the bridge posts are, and the rollers they have a little bit of movement, but it's not a ton. So I put I kind of like the heavier low strings and the lighter high strings, and they make a set that I put on. But the bridge there doesn't have a ton of movement. Pickups are replacements from Guitar Fetish. They are they're their version of what Gritch would have put in them to begin with. I wasn't willing to pay the close to $200 for a set of Gretsch knockoff or takeoffs. These seem to work fine. I haven't tested it out on an actual lamp, but the only thing I have right now is this practice amp, and it's basically just to check. It's just to check to make sure that everything functions. But we'll give you a quick. It works. Hopefully I will get a chance to plug it into a better amp at some point, and we'll go from there. I think that all totaled in, kit was about $250, pickups and replacement wiring and the like was probably another $100. So $350 in, which is, you know, you could probably buy an electromatic Gretsch for that, but I wanted to build it, so the blue, natural blue, I think turned out pretty well. I kind of like you don't see it too often, blue headstock. Overall, the kit's only okay. There was some weird fiber stuff on the top and the sides. The back didn't really have it all that much, but I was able to bury it in the finish for the most part. For the most part, it's smooth, and I wasn't able to sand it all out. I was worried about going too much through the veneer. You may get the same thing, you may not. It didn't really present itself all that much until I was doing the sanding and finishing, so there was no sending it back at that point. The veneer, I mean, you get what you get on something like this. The veneer is pretty good, like through here, through the back half, I think it looks pretty good. The front half kind of has a different look to it. It's not quite as good, but you know, you get what you pay for in this regard. For $250, you're gonna get something that's gonna look pretty good. If you need it to be perfect, you're probably gonna have to spend some more to get exactly what you want. But I just wanted to build a set neck guitar. I like the Bigsby style vibrato, so I don't have a guitar like that. Everything went together pretty well, and it seems to be pretty good. So the tuning stability seems okay. These are brand new strings, so you never can tell perfectly, but there is a pick guard that goes with it, but I don't know if I'm going to put it on or not. The one thing about the kit that was pretty bad was none of the screws or anything are labeled, and so you don't know which ones go where. There was one set that, you know, it looked like you would screw down decking with. They were, you know, this long, and I had no idea where they would go on a guitar. I wouldn't. Maybe they were probably even bigger than the neck screw for a bolt-on, and this is not a bolt-on. So if you're gonna gig with it, I would not use this strap button here. This is where it goes normally, but the there's nothing for it to screw into other than just this side. So if you're gonna gig it, I would put a strap button on the back of the neck just to have this solid attachment point. So that pretty much is it. I'm going to send it off to my buddy Zach, and he's gonna do a sound demo for us. He's a much better player than I am, so we'll see how that one goes, and hopefully I'll have the next project up and going soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.